welcome to the October edition of Turf Moor. As the Clarets prepare for a trip to the south coast, it's time to bring you another packed show. Club historian Sean Borman joins the club in celebrating Black History Month with a look back at John Francis' career. Burnley FC women's defender Cara Bickett heads into a local school in support of show racing the red card. And we catch up with Josh Brownhill during his campaign to support some of the area's local businesses. But first, we hear from two-time Super Bowl champion Malcolm Jenkins as he recently became a minority investor in the club. The New Orleans Saints safety flew over from the States last weekend and touched down at Turf Moor.
Well, a very, very warm welcome to Burnley, and I've got to say, first things first, the suit.
You know, came with the team colours, trying to do my best to fit in.
Why have you got involved in Burnley?
You know, the Premier League is something that I think is growing in the United States, the awareness of it, and an opportunity came to look into it, and specifically in Burnley. And when we looked at what was, going on as far as the management, where they wanted to take the team, where the team, was ranked, and really kind of some of the things surrounding the narrative around the team, made it a very interesting opportunity for us. This town being one of those, passionate working class, group is similar to what I'm dealing with in New Orleans and in Philadelphia. And so those are the type of organizations that, we like to be a part of, because we also know there's going to be a solid foundation of support.
The way the Premier League is at the moment in the States, and the way the NFL is equally over here,
yes.
How do you see the way those two sports are starting to grow in both those countries?
Yeah, I think from a popularity standpoint, you see both leagues really making an investment in that awareness is growing. I know as a player coming over here and playing a game, I was surprised to see the stadium packed and the amount of enthusiasm around our game, and I think it's the same in the States. But the NFL, I think, is doing a better job of monetizing that popularity. And so I think the Premier League, which is the most popular sport or league out there in the world, has an opportunity to really grow, and we want to be a part of that growth. Most times you only hear about the most successful teams. But one of the things about American sports in those teams, you either like the superstars, the LA Lakers, the Dallas Cowboys, or you attach yourself to an underdog type of team, the type of followings you see in New Orleans and Philadelphia, in Pittsburgh. We like those stories, and I think there's an opportunity to expose more Americans to teams like Burnley, not just the top ones that everybody knows around the world.
What is it that appeals to you about being that underdog?
I've always enjoyed challenges. I've always been an underdog myself. I never saw myself as the best athlete, on the field, but I compete, and I love playing the game. I love to go out there and give it my best and stack myself up against the best. I've always attach myself to people who are like that, or found love from people who are like that. I grew up in that kind of environment in New Jersey. Being an underdog means that there's a lot of room for growth.
I just wonder if one of the appeals of Burnley as well is its financial structure.
Yeah, I think from an investment standpoint, they do a great job of being, responsible, of taking care of the business aspect of it. I think that's actually, the easy part with this. We're excited to come in and have a voice. I think that was one of the things we're looking into as well. It's not just putting our money into any investments. We can do that anywhere, but the opportunity, that is really what made us super interested in Burnley. It's not just just to be able to slap our name on something in the Premier League, but to actually come in, have influence, and be able to be a part of that change in the culture.
You spoke about it, I think, in the past, the importance of not just white people investing, especially in sport. It's good that people of all races get involved in that sort of investment.
Well, I understand that, what I do is an example, right? And when I look at, or what I've noticed in at least the NFL, the fan bases that follow these clubs oftentimes ride the emotional waves of the team, or will take examples for the team. And I think football, there's a great job of convening people. And when you convene people, you get an opportunity to set an example. Not only does it change how people see me, it changes how they see themselves. You know, somebody else who's looking at me who never thought that they could be in the ownership position in a Premier League, now understand that that's an opportunity.
For a guy who's played in and won 2 Super Bowls, this stadium's a little bit different.
Yeah, I think they're doing a great job with some of the updates for it to be one of the older stadiums. It's a small, stadium, I think 22,000 fans in it, but to see the vision of where they want to go with it, using it for purposes that are even, more than just the games. I think create an engagement with the fan base that's a little bit different. And so trying to create not only a great place to come watch a match, but an experience in doing so that's intimate, that is, that you can't get somewhere else.
Sean is a character very much like yourself, big extrovert. I mean, what do you make of Sean, the manager?
See, I'm actually an introvert. This is just a professional gig I'm doing right now. No, I think, leadership is always what you want to look at. And I think when you can be excited about, your leadership, then you understand the direction that you're going. So I think when I look at what's going on here, I'm excited about the direction.
And obviously NFL is your main bag, but I know you've had a go in the past as a track athlete.
Yep.
What about, the field out there? Could that be you?
No, I think I'm running, closer to the end of my athletic days. So I think I might have missed that wave. But my daughter she's loves soccer right now. So I get to brag and look like a cool dad now that I'm part of the Burnley team.
And is Burnley her team? I hope it is.
It is now.
Now, throughout October, Burnley Football Club have been celebrating Black History Month, and we recently caught up with club historian Sean Bowman as he tells tales of Claret's legend, John Francis.
Hi, my name's Sean Bowman, club historian at Burnley Football Club, and also a loyal supporter since 1972, following the Claret's home and away ever since, including reserves, under-21s, youth team matches. I do it. Not many people actually know that Burnley signed a black player in 1933 called Alf Charles from Trinidad. The first black player I remember, well, he was the first black player to play for Burnley, Robert Regis in the mid-80s, followed by the likes of George Agani, Les Lawrenson, and then Roger Eli. But it was John Francis who was basically my iconic hero, who came from Sheffield United in 1990. The man who really got us 2 promotions in the space of 3 seasons.
Francis clean through. Can he score? Yes, he did! A tremendous goal! And the crowd are going wild.
Fast play, could take on defences with pace and accuracy. He was quick thinking as well, was John. Very, very quick thinking.
And it's the speed merchant, John Francis again.
Still well on top. Francis, Conroy, Francis, wonderful goal!
Several iconic moments for me with John was the 91-92 season, where he scored some crucial goals through that season, and then it was basically the third to the last game where we played York away, and we needed to win that game to get out of the 4th division. We've been there for several seasons there, and we actually went 1-0 down just before half-time, where there were 4,000 or 5,000 Burnley supporters there that night, a massive following for a 4th division club. And it was on the hour mark where John Deary actually pulled one back for us to make it 1-1.
Deary! John Deary has equalised!
But the iconic goal came from John Francis with, basically on 90 minutes. George Jacob had got the ball on the left side, knocked it down long, found Mike Conroy. Mike Conroy took the ball into the box, squared the ball, and there was John Francis to ram the ball into the back of net.
John Francis!
And what happened next was magical. He jumped on the fence to celebrate with thousands and thousands of Burnley supporters behind the goal. Really classic moment. Actually got his actual shirt from the game that day. He wore, he's loaned it to the football club. It's a bit threadbare, but what a legend that day were. He actually got us promoted that day, really.
That's it! Burnley are #1 again. Up at last, and up as champions.
Back in the 93-94 season, we played Plymouth in a playoff semi-final. We drew at Turf Moor 0-0, and then we went back to their place on a Wednesday night. John that day actually took some quite racist comments made to him that day. It was quite upsetting, especially when they had a player called Dwight Marshall playing for him as well. And Dwight Marshall actually scored after 15 minutes to put them 1-0 ahead. Well, the celebrations was unbelievable. They were on their way to Wembley, they were on the phones, they were going, that's it. And then what happened, 29th minute, John Francis got a through ball from Adrian Heath. He ran past the defenders, drew the goalkeeper, Alan Nichols, off his line and smashed it in the back of the net.
Francis getting away from Comet. Nichols has had to come off his line. John Francis!
And the stick he'd already been receiving him certainly ensured that the Plymouth fans knew he'd scored that game. And then 2 minutes later, lo and behold, Adrian Heath again flipped the ball again through for Johnny Francis to push the ball through two defenders. He rounded the two defenders, got to the edge of the box. Nichols again came to try and close him down, and bang.
And John Francis makes it 2-0.
And he just made sure that they knew he'd just scored. A lot of people were sorry to see John go. He really put a lot into the club while he was out in Burnley, and really enjoyable player to watch.
Played by Neil Graycock and the cross, and it's there! John Francis has took Burnley's second in!
One of the best black players ever to play for Burnley. Bubbly character, great guy, always had a smile on his face, never really seen him ruffled, playing for Burnley, always approachable, loved him, and loved to see him back here again for, on the pitch with the rest of the team he played for that 91-92 season as well.
John Francis beating Phil Chard down the left. Takes it into the penalty area. And straight into the back of the net. What a wonderful goal for Burnley, that one.
A great piece on a real icon. The club continues to celebrate Black History Month with a look back at some cult heroes.
Right, would you believe it? It's a very packed Turf Moor. The reason for that, of course, a certain Mr. Ian Wright. No, it's Wright! Oh, he scored! Ian Wright! What a marvellous goal! That is what you call nicking a game. Ian Wright, would you believe it? He will be a happy man tonight.
John Francis! They're going home as champions.
Claret again, obviously the subject of some close attention. Francis again bringing the ball away, looking to get through that gap in the middle, and he might get the shot in here. And he does, and John Francis makes it 2-0. What is the Argyle defence doing, you wonder?
Still time for a winner, maybe. It's a terrific run. John Francis! They came to York in their thousands. They're going home as champions.
Oh, goal! Lenny John Road! Wonderful! Pickering trying for a shot, and a brilliant shot! John Rose. Still Glenn Little is going to time to pick his spot here. Once again, perhaps 1-2 minute, and a goal! Lenny John Rose, excellent play! Armstrong floats it in, and oh, goal! Lenny John Rose! Wonderful!
Something out of nothing for Adi Akinbaye.
Trying to find Akinbaye, chance for Akinbaye, it's the third. Oh, that's the goal we needed. Nice link play between Noah Williams and Akinbaye thumped it home. Final hit this long, Akibaye running through the middle, he's onside, took it down beautifully, chance for Akibaye, he scored, what a finish, what a lovely finish from Akibaye.
Here's Blake for Burnley, chipped into the penalty area, Eagles is onside, the angle's tight, great save from the keeper, Akibaye! Akibaye has put the ball into the back of the net, and 6,000 Burnley fans jump for joy in the shed end.
Burnley have the lead, and it's Chris Iwelumo. But helps it on to Wallace, clips it towards the back post, looking for Iwelumo, he's got it. Burnley 2 up, and it's big Chris Iwelumo. Ball in here, finds Iwelumo. Oh, what a volley! What a volley from Chris Iwelumo. Looking in the middle towards Iwelumo, it's there! Oh, what a finish! Burnley are level, hat-trick for Chris Iwelumo. What a finish! What a header! And Burnley are level in the derby. It's Burnley 3, Preston North End 3.
I'm privileged and I'm honoured to be a member of this magnificent team.
Patterson inside the box, gets a ball in towards the far post for Clark Carlisle. It's 3-0. Clark Carlisle on the score sheet. Lovely move from Burnley. For Burnley, will it fall for Elliott? Shot, it's the top of the bar, he's unlucky. And in, and it's in. It's Clark Carlisle, it's first of the season.
Words can't describe how brilliant, how awesome an achievement this is. This team has just been magnificent. Look at these fans. What an awesome day. What an awesome day.
That is a finish from Julius Stanislas. The space here for Stanislas. Point to Neely. Brilliant goal. That is magical from Julius Stanislas. Might still fall here for Julius Stanislas on his right foot. Looks to hit it. Oh, Julius Stanislas. That is a finish from Julius Stanislas. What a day for Andre Gray. Edge of the box for Gray, looks to come inside, can he hit it left footed? Oh, what a goal from Andre Gray! That is some finish!
Really lovely ball, Gray's in behind here, he's got the pace as well, can he finish this off? He can! Andre Gray for Burnley, 2-0, and this team now believe they will survive.
In support of show racing the red card, Burnley FC women's defender Cara Bickett recently paid visit to one of Burnley's local schools in support of a new book titled What is Racism?
Hi everyone, my name is Ben Mee and I'm captain with the men's team here at Burnley FC. I believe you're all going to read this really important book called What is Racism? I enjoyed the first page, which talks about how many races there are and what racism feels like. I hope you get the chance to talk about some of the really important issues the book brings up and reflects on what you learned today. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask someone. It's important to ask questions when you need to.
I'm Cara, I play for the women's team for Burnley. I play centre-back. The FA have brought out a book, it's about what is racism basically, and we've just been talking to the kids, just educating them really on what racism is, like the things that encompass racism and what they can do about it as little kids themselves. What is racism? It's treating people differently and unfairly because of their skin colour, where they come from or their family traditions. So what does race mean? They were really engaged actually. They seemed very interested, they were answering loads of questions that were getting asked, and they seemed by the end of it like they were really motivated to, I guess, like try and do their own bit and find their own voice and speak up. What does racism look like? I think it just shows that we're all united on the area. It's a really important subject to be talking about, and I think everyone needs to be talking about it, and for us to talk about it and for the men to talk about it, it just shows like how important it is, I guess.
Even identical twins have a few differences.
Personally, I think it should be important to everyone. I think you see it in everyday life, and I personally like to treat people equally no matter who they are, skin colour, creed, whatever. and that should be a moral that everyone has. So if I can speak up about it, then I'd love to speak up about it. Just educate people, bring more awareness to something that really needs awareness and always will need awareness, and hopefully inspire people to like kind of make a change or be more aware of like what they're saying or how they treat people. I have an older brother, and my dad, I overheard him asking him when we was younger if he wanted to play football, and I always wanted to do everything my brother wanted to do but better. So I was like, please can I play? And I got involved in like a boys team, and it went from there. And when you go up against like other boys on the other teams, they're always like, oh, why is a girl your captain? Why is a girl on your team? But you just prove them wrong when you play, and it was the best feeling. Why are people more racist when they're in a group? I think it's important to use your voice and try and spread awareness wherever you can, and when you get opportunities to take them, even if it's like coming to a school, that's probably the best place because it's education. This is one of the first times I've ever really done anything like this, and it's kind of inspiring to me to be able to like talk to people and them actually listening to me and seem like they're motivated to like make a change because of something that I've said.
Now, Josh Brownhill may be based in Manchester, but that hasn't stopped him embracing some of the local businesses in the Burnley area. The Claret's midfielder has been showcasing several businesses on his social media accounts, highlighting the ups and the downs during the pandemic and the great people behind them.
Obviously when the pandemic went on and it was all massive, and people were talking about footballers doing their part, charities and donating, and which we did as a team anyway. And then I was I remember I asked Jay Rodriguez about a vegan shop in Burnley, is there any? And he was like, oh, well, there's a little bit. I think it's Barrowford, which is literally just outside of Burnley.
That's all right, how are you? How are you? Yeah, all good, how have you been?
And I remember going in and speaking to them a little bit over the time. I don't think they really knew who I was then, and you sort of get in conversation, and you talk about how's it affected you and how's it affected the business. And when you hear it firsthand of how they've struggled, it sort of touches home a little bit, because it's like it's been hard for everybody. So I was thinking that what can I do to sort of help, and I thought I can use my platform to sort of get the businesses out there, and what I would use. So for example, a car wash that I would use around the corner, or a coffee shop that I would go into, or a performing arts gallery where there's paintings, there's a tattooist and a bakery. Obviously don't live in Burnley, but instead of me getting my stuff from Manchester, it's a little bit closer to home. The people who support me sort of every week with games and stuff, that I want to support the community here. So I was just popping into shops, and instead of going home and doing it, I'd just be like, oh, it's 5 minutes around the corner, I'll just go and use that. I'd use that, and then we came up with the idea of like, because I was posting it on my social media anyway, but it's like, I want to help even more and get it out there to people. So we sat down and thought, like, what would be the best way to get that out there to people? And I was like, oh, well, we'll make a little bit of a series of going into these places. It went down really well, and I had a few messages off people that were saying, oh, I didn't realise that for that shop, that shop was near me. I'm going to pop down, I'm going to go in, I'm going to go try being vegan. It was a vegan shop. So that's what it was for people to just realise that I use it, and that if people are interested in that, or where to go, and if it's near them, then they're going to pop in and sort of help their business out. And that's what the whole thing was for, so to let everybody know that the shops there that I use, that I come to Burnley and I still use these shops as much as I don't just finish training and just go back home and not worry about what's going on. Like, I try and help as much as I can, and I felt like for me that was the right thing to do is just to sort of get their businesses out there. We have, like I say, such a big platform and a lot of people that follow and are interested in a lot of things, and these places don't really have that platform, you know, like little small businesses, they don't really know how to reach out there. It's just sort of like around their area, word of mouth, and for me, to use my platform for everybody else to see, everybody in Burnley, because you know a lot of people will follow what I'm doing in Burnley, so from young kids or to adults or whatever. So I think everybody struggled in this time, and you know it's just about what I can do just to help them. And you know, at Bristol City I was involved in the charities there, and you know as the whole team was, and it went down really well, and the children's hospice there, and I tried to do my part for there. And it was here, it was you know to find something that I use and what I can do, and then the pandemic happened and stuff, and I just thought I can give back to the community because they support me on the weekend, so it's only fair if I can support them through a difficult time.
So that's it for another edition of Turf Moor. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next month with another episode, but for now, as we approach the gaffer's 9th anniversary of manager of the club, we'll leave you with some of his best moments from an incredible 9 years.
I'd like to see a lot of sweat on the shirt. I call it a minimum requirement. Hello. Working transition.
Ball in there. Yeah! Fox turn and hits it. Yeah! It's down! Swing towards the back post and a one. It's three.
I'm super proud of the proudest man in Proudsville. So I didn't actually eat the worms.
It's here, it's now. And Fox get on the end of this. Fox for a chance. Equaliser. Oh, what a goal!